Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Top 10 Tuesday episode. This is episode 88. And yeah, thank you once again for dropping in, guys. For episode 88, we are going to be talking about top 10 favorite British horror films of all time, if you couldn't tell by looking at this. British horror films, man. So basically what I did for this top 10 list is I set a little bit of boundaries for myself, and I'll explain in a second here. So basically this top 10 list is not going to contain any Hammer horror films or Amicus studio films, and the reason for that is because I've compiled complete top 10 lists on this series already for those respectable studios. So I just thought it would be a lot easier to not contain those because I could show some other films, because obviously I'm a huge fan of Amicus and Hammer films. So without further ado, let's get right into this top 10 list. And in at number 10 is a film that I most recently talked about in a Best of Blind Buys video, and it's called Paper House, directed by, of course, Bernard Rose, who went on to direct Candyman. Paper House is just a fantastic, like, fantasy horror film about this little girl who, the short and long of it is basically she draws this picture of a house, and she starts having like these very vivid dreams of this house, and she soon learns that she can manipulate her dreams by adding to this photograph, or to this drawing that she did. And so she keeps doing that, and things get really, really crazy. She meets this boy in her dreams, and it starts to kind of make you question, is these things happening in real life, or are they not? It's a really well done film. I think this one just has a great atmosphere. It's shot well. It's got this perfect fantasy feel to it. It's just an all around really unique film. I think everyone needs to seek this one out. Unfortunately, this does not have a Region 1 release. So you're gonna have to, seek out the Region 2 if you have an all-region player. But I highly recommend Paper House, man. This is a really good film. It's one that I keep going back to, and I love it, man. Paper House. In at number 10. In at number 9 is Neil Marshall's The Descent. This is fucking awesome. I think it's like a modern day classic. It's a freaky film. It's a very simple premise about 6 girls, I believe, who go they basically go diving in these caves, and of course the entrance that they went in gets blocked off, and they have to figure out a way to get out of these caves. But the problem is that now they're being hunted by these kind of creatures that are inside of this this cave, and they got to figure out a way to get out. It's just really, really well done. It's freaky, it's scary, because you put yourself into the situation, you would definitely be shitting yourself. It's freaky, man. It's a really well made film. I think this is Neil Marshall's this is just such an amazing film. But everyone knows about The Descent, but I had to put it on there because I really love that film. So modern day one. In at number 9. In at number 8 is Tony Randall's Hellbound Hellraiser 2. And you're probably saying to yourself, why not Hellraiser 1? I actually do prefer Hellraiser 2 over the first one, over Clive Barker's original one. It's not that I dislike Hellraiser. I love Hellraiser. I just prefer this one. I think the story gets a little more elevated. I think the effects are just outstanding in this film. I think it's just one that just feels a little more whole. There's just a lot more to offer in this film. I think it's fantastic. It's just an all-around crazy reality, kind of stemming from Clive Barker's. It's like an extension of his story, and I love everything about this film, man. The Cenobites look great. Everything about this movie looks just fantastic, but it's too bad we didn't get too many more of these type of Hellraiser films, to be honest. But what can I say, man? Tony Randall, he ended up going on to direct, I think, Amityville 6, and he also did Ticks, the American film. So this is a British horror film. It was fully produced and shot in England and everything. Of course, executive produced by Clive Barker, but shot by an American director. So, Hellbound Hellraiser 2. In at number 8. In at number 7 is the classic film from 1973, and it's called The Legend of Hell House. This is really how you do, paranormal investigative films. This one, man, the first time I watched this film, it scared the shit out of me. I don't know what it was, but it really had me going. It was just freaky, just about these investigators that go to this Hell House and to investigate the legend of Hell House, because it's apparently, what do they call it on the back? The Mount Everest of haunted houses. It's what it's described as in the film. And yeah, apparently there was like a whole crew that was taken out, and so they got to deal with all the shit that's going on inside this house and stuff. It's really, really well done. It's freaky. It's scary. It's just awesome, man. If you've never seen The Legend of Hell House, give it a shot. It's really fantastic. It's too bad that there wasn't really a lot more special features by the Scream Factory edition. Like, there's an interview with the director, an audio interview, and a trailer. Yeah, it would have been nice to have a commentary on that. But Legend of Hell House, check it out. It's 70s gold right there. That was number 7, or that was number 7? Yeah. 10, 9, 8, yeah, number 7. In at number 6 is Dust Devil. Yes, the awesome film from, of course, Richard Stanley. We all know Richard Stanley from the very debauched Island of Dr. Moreau situation. If you haven't seen the documentary based on that, you got to check that out. But Dust Devil is basically Richard Stanley's second film. He had done Hardware just before this one. Now this one is like a completely different type of film. It takes place in South Africa, and what the Dust Devil is this guy right here. He's basically a demon, a shape-shifting demon who's in human form, and he's going around just kind of hitchhiking around and killing off women and stealing their souls, because he basically needs to gather up a certain amount of souls so he can get himself back to the other side of the mirror. And ultimately what happens is your main character, she splits from her husband. She goes on a road trip, picks him up. They have a relationship, and then shit kind of gets out of control. But this one, it's got it's got great fucking music in this film. Of course, done by, what's the guy who did the music in this one? Shit, I know Derek's probably screaming at me right now. I'm so bad with names, but it'll come to me. But maybe not. He's done music for like a million films, but the cinematography is just beautiful in this. The story is awesome. I mean, it's very simple, but it's just executed so perfectly. It's a long film. It runs about 108 minutes for the the full director's cut of it. Well worth it, man. Shot on location in South Africa, and it's awesome, man. There's like a lot of sandy kind of open areas, and I love this movie, man. I think it's just fantastic. Super underrated stuff. Dust Devil, check it out. And if you can get your hands on this edition, because this is the uncut version, of course, comes with the work print also. But the crazy thing is that this is like a 5-disc set right here. Yeah, one of the discs is actually in my Blu-ray player right now, because I was actually watching this. And then it comes with 3 of his documentaries and the soundtracks underneath here. Which would probably say Simon Boswell, the guy that did the soundtrack for Demons 2 and stuff. Yeah, and Phenomena. Jesus Christ, I knew it would come to me, but cheating. Dust Devil, check it out, man. It's fucking fantastic. So that was in at number 6. In at number 5 is a classic film from 1961, and it's called The Innocence. Now, this film is just, again, this is how you do these kind of like psychological, kind of supernatural, however you want to classify this film. It doesn't have those cheap jump scares and things. It relies on good acting, creepy atmosphere, an interesting story, really good dialogue, great sets, and the house that they shoot this in. Basically, what this is Deborah Kerr. She plays a, what do they call them, governess. So she takes this job to look after these kids, and she starts seeing like these apparitions, like these humans and things like that. And then the kids start acting all weird and stuff, and she's really trying to piece everything together, like what the hell's going on in this house and stuff. But it's an all around creepy film. And just really well executed. It's awesome, man. The thing about these films, I think this movie would have been like a perfect film to me if the music wasn't so happy feel. I know like a lot of these older black and white films, they do have those type of, they have that type of music to them. The scores are always kind of similar, very stringy and kind of almost too happy feeling. But I think if this one had a darker score to it, I think it would just be so much more perfect. But yeah, honestly, the dialogue, the kids in this film do a great job. The little boy does such a fantastic job delivering his lines in this film. It's just hard to believe. Like, wow, he's just so good. But excellent film. The Innocence. That was in at number 5. In at number 4. is another classic film from the early 60s. And I want to say, man, this is probably, 1963. And it is The Haunting. And this, of course, is another supernatural kind of ghost story, of course. Very similar premise to Legend of Hell House in a way. These people, they go to this huge castle to investigate the legend of... The Haunting of Hill House, basically. That was Shirley Jackson's. This is based off her book. And yeah, it's basically that, but there's a little bit of twists and turns in this one and stuff like that. It's such a fantastic film. Really well executed. It doesn't rely on a whole pile of ridiculous jump scares and things. Great atmosphere, great acting. It's creepy as shit. The British really did some good, kind of ghost story films, but... The Haunting, can't really say too much about it. Check it out if you've never seen it. It's awesome. That was number 4. And at number 3 is the classic film from 1960, and that is Peeping Tom. Yeah, man, what can I say, man? Peeping Tom is a very interesting character study into the mind of a psychopath, really. Yeah, Mark Lewis, main character in this film, works like at the studio and stuff, but his nighttime job is, he's working on making his own type of films, and he films pretty much everything, and it's kind of stemming from his childhood. So this is a very interesting character study of just the traumas of, growing up and, and just everything else in later in life and stuff, the male gaze and everything. It's a very interesting look. And I love the way they did this film, though, because there's just so many metaphors and so many things that are going on in this film. It's really, really fantastic stuff. If you've never seen Peeping Tom, I love it, man. I love the way they shoot this film, though. Like, it's literally through his eyes and the camera and stuff. But I love those old cameras. Those things, just the way they roll, they're just awesome. Very small handheld cameras, but it fits it so well. It's creepy, man. It's good. Good stuff. I love the main character, Mark, in that film, because he fits the profile so perfect, man. Anyways, and that was in at number 3. In at number 2, of course, is Twisted Nerve, and this is from 1968. Yeah, this one right here is obviously known for having the theme music to this was used in Kill Bill. You guys all know that music, but this is where the music originally comes from, is this movie Twisted Nerve. It's basically about this character, Martin Durnley. Yeah, Martin Durnley. He's kind of like a mama's boy. He's got this really kind of fucked up family and stuff. And he's got like basically 2 personalities. He's got his personality, and then he's got kind of like this child personality that he goes into. One day he gets busted stealing something. This girl kind of plays it off, and she, kind of sticks up for him. She pays for his stuff. And then he goes into like full-blown kid mode with her, and then he begins obsessing over her, and he just won't leave her alone and things like that. And then it kind of spirals out of control from there. It's a really, really fucking awesome film. Love this movie. I think this one came in at number 3 on my 68 list, because the other 2 films were Rosemary's Baby and Night of the Living Dead. So really tough to beat those type of films in a top 10. But Twisted Nerve, man, this is a really fucking awesome film. You've never seen this shit? Awesome. Awesome. Really interesting film. Great acting in this. So Twisted Nerve in at number 2. And of course, in at number 1, I've said it many times, I love this film to death, and that is The Wicker Man. Enough said. We all know this film. So, of course, starring the legendary Chris Lee. Yeah, it's awesome, man. This is just the way you do horror films. It's creepy. It's so effective. It's effective. Like, the ending is just fucking amazing, but... Don't need to talk about The Wicker Man. And that is going to do it for my top 10 list. Now, this was like one of the most insanely hard lists to make. I know there's so many films that I had to leave off my top 10. I was cutting things left and right. Like, I cut The Devils out of here, which I can't believe I had to. Certain things like What the Peeper Saw, I love that film too. But yeah, really breaking it down, not having Hammer and Amicus Studio Films in here did really kind of help out this top 10 list. So that was nice, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Quick little recap here. In at number 10, we got Paper House. Number 9, The Descent. Number 8, Hellraiser 2. Number 7, The Legend of Hell House. Number 6, Dust Devil. Number 5, The Innocence. Number 4, The Haunting. Number 3, Peeping Tom. Number 2, Twisted Nerve. And of course, The Wicker Man. And that is going to do it for my personal picks for my favorite top 10 British horror films of all time. Let me know what some of your favorites are down below. And of course, like I always say, go and check out everyone else's videos that's doing this. Are probably just going to be Derek. Yeah, this was a fucking hard one. I worked on this list for a couple days, and It was a tough one, but anyways, guys, video's going on long enough, 15 minutes in. Y'all know the deal. Peace!